Otto couldn't run fast enough to Viserys Chambers, okay? He couldn't wait to snitch. It was me. I their assness of epic proportion, Olympic level assness. A gal and this baby dead.
House of Dragons is the medieval Jerry Springer, and I like that. Okay? As somebody who watched both Game of Thrones and House of Dragons, I'm gonna come right out here with an unpopular opinion, but I like House of Dragons more. And the reason I do is because the whole thing ain't nothing more than medieval Jerry Springer, and that's my kind of carrying on. Like, listen, Game of Thrones can be very, very tedious. You gotta keep up with a bunch of history, a bunch of plot lines, a bunch of backstory, a bunch of war, a bunch of all kind of tactical plans. But for House of Dragons, all I need to know is who they not supposed to be and who gotta get up as a result. I loved House of Dragons so much during season 1 that I actually started making video reviews for it after every episode on Twitter, and people loved it. But I didn't have a YouTube at the time. So I said, I definitely want to do season 2 on my YouTube channel the minute that it comes out. So I figure the least I could do is give y'all a whole big backstory, a whole breakdown of season 1 for Asada. Asada, please. Y'all haven't met Asada actually officially. It's crazy because she gonna decide that this where she gonna sit. Does this look like a place that a cat can just stay? Look at her. Y'all all know Raheem, but recently I rescued this kitty, Asada. I literally rescued her, okay? I saved her literally off the road. This is my baby. I recently robbed her of her ovaries, and that's why she has the cone on. Asada, can mommy record? You can't just stay here, Asada. Okay, please. All right. Anyway, like I was saying before Asada decided to interrupt me, she's now laying down next to us. I figure I really want to do recap videos of season 2 as it comes out, so why not spin the block on season 1 and give y'all a whole full breakdown? First things first, you do not need to have seen Game of Thrones to watch House of Dragons. And I know somewhere some diehard nerd just collapsed, okay? But listen, Brenda, you gonna be all right. House of Dragons takes place like dumb long ago in the verse, okay? Like 100 or hundreds, more than 100 years before the events of Game of Thrones. You'll be all right without that knowledge. Just know that House of Dragons is about the Targaryens, okay? You know, the Malfoys of the Game of Thrones universe, okay? Daenerys Targaryen's family. It's about them, all right? And at the start of House of Dragons, listen, okay, I know the show is called House of the Dragon, but I don't have time for that, okay? I'm black. We call it House of Dragons. So at the start of House of Dragons, Viserys is the king. And y'all know how the whole royal monarchy bloodline thing is supposed to go. He needs an heir. He needs a son. And at the start of House of Dragons, he don't got one. But before we get there, let's get to how we even ended up with Viserys as king. Originally, the Targaryen that was king didn't have a son. So there became a whole question of who would be his heir. Would it be Rhaenys or would it be Viserys? You know, the universe hates bitches. The universe hates women. I'm sorry. Clearly, I hate women too. Ooh. And so they went with Viserys and not Rhaenys, making Rhaenys known as the queen who never was. Now, in episode 1's present day, Viserys does not have a son yet. He has a daughter, Rhaenyra. And at the beginning of the episode, Rhaenyra's mom, Queen Aemma, is pregnant. And Viserys is gallivanting all around the kingdom, telling people how he just know he gonna have a son. And because he knows he has a son coming, he's preparing celebrations, and that's where his focus is at. But what we're eventually told is that Rhaenyra's mom has suffered like 5 different tragedies, lost 5 different children just trying to have a son for Viserys. And she tells him, listen, I know my duty is to give you an heir, but this is the last time. I've already buried 5 babies. I'm not doing it again. Now, back in the kingdom, we have a couple of we got to focus on. First is Daemon Targaryen. Daemon is Viserys' brother, and he is a sick and ain't nobody gonna tell me different, okay? I know a lot of y'all stand Daemon, and y'all need to get help, all right? I remember when season 1 was airing, and there was so many people romanticizing Daemon, and I was just over here like, no amount of being on Team Black will have me siding with this wicked, sociopathic, psychopathic, nut-ass. And right out the gate, you're supposed to know that Daemon is problematic, but you're supposed to receive it in this like badass that you're supposed to be rooting for, like how they trying to present Daemon. Funny enough, it's kind of the exact same kind of energy they try to present around Daemon in Vampire Diaries, right? Who also came into the show being a sick, psychopathic But anyhow, Daemon is a threat to Viserys' rule, or at least that's how everybody but Viserys sees it. The main person who really sees it is the hand to the king, Otto Hightower, who is another wicked we need to focus on. Because Viserys has no heir, there's always this commotion about whether or not he should name Daemon his successor. But sensible like Otto Hightower, wicked as he is, but sensible he is as well, sensible like Otto Hightower are like, no, because he recognizes that Daemon is a destructive, violent psychopath who would be dangerous to the realm and needs to be kept as far away from the throne as possible. But right quick, you know what's real interesting about them deciding that Daemon is a psychopath that needs to be kept away from the crown? Do you know where they decide to put him? They decide to make him the chief of the city watch, like chief of police. Yeah, they decide that he should be kept away from the crown, and they give him all the tools to wreak havoc on the poor townsfolk, right? Because surely that's the... But on second thought, is not the most fitting place for a dangerous, violent psychopath, the police force. I mean... makes sense. So yeah, we hate Daemon because it's the police in every realm. But yeah, they sick to nut-ass Daemon on the poor townsfolk, and he's round the place policing like he's Eric Adams. I mean, mutilated, massacring the townfolk, talking about he rounding up the criminals. But to be a little fair to Otto Hightower, at least when he heard that Daemon was massacring the townsfolk, he was like, what? Like... And he did try to tell Viserys and them, like, y'all might want to get this wanton gangster away from seats of power. And Viserys is basically like, what do you want me to do? You told me to get him away from the court. I had to give him a job. Ooh, what's up? What's funny to me about this entire exchange is, like, while Otto and Corlys and everybody else at the table are trying to warn Viserys about Daemon, he's like, no, Daemon's not a problem. Meanwhile, Daemon is listening in the shadows like, you dumb bitch. You dumb bunny. Viserys literally goes, Daemon has ambition, but not for the throne. And this Daemon. That's what you think? Oh, okay. Anyway, so apart from that, what we learn about Daemon in episode 1 is that he has a wife that he don't be and don't never be at the crib where he's supposed to be with her. He be in the brothels and all the whores, and he has crazy sexual tension with his 15-year-old niece, Rhaenyra. Anyway, Rhaenyra, our protagonist, is best friends with Otto Hightower's daughter, Alicent. Another key character you need to learn about. In the first episode, Rhaenyra is depicted as being very close to her mother, who she's already seen go through 5 incredibly difficult pregnancies. But her mother reassures her that it's their duty to give their kings heirs, to give them a son, and that soon she'll be doing the same too. But Rhaenyra not really with that vision at all. She's really not on that run. She really is more into riding dragons and listening to what her daddy doing at the King's Round Table. She want to be a part of the decision making. She want to be like the boys in the mix. So Queen Aemma goes into labor, and instead of being at her bedside while she tries her endeavor best to give birth to his beloved heir, Viserys is out commencing, like, what do you call it, like the tournament of heirs. He out here having games and festivities to celebrate the labor. And what are the festivities he chooses to have to celebrate having a son? Games when is riding horses trying to off each other. And I mean, literally, like, some did off each other. The only thing you really need to know about these games is that we meet Sir Criston Cole, who is a common-born nobody who looked good. He do look good. Who's a common-born nobody who actually whoops ass in these games, including Daemon's ass, and Rhaenyra takes note. Anyway, while Viserys is busy celebrating her labor, Queen Aemma is actually in labor, and it's going terribly. So the doctors call Viserys, and they're like, hey, listen here, right quick. Your gal and this baby get dead. So, we could try to save the baby. Like, we could just call it a wraps on both them now. Or we could try to save baby and let your wife bleed out to death. What you want to do? And then Viserys decides all on his own, because it's important to note that they at no point bring this to Aemma, because God forbid a woman get a say on her own medical decisions, right? So Viserys decides all on his own that his wife, okay? Take the baby and let that bitch bleed out her. And let me tell y'all, it really was just as heartless as I described it. Like, it really was some cold shit. Literally, the minute that Viserys decides that it's the baby over Aemma, these doctors, like, they cease to stop seeing her as a person. Like, they don't even see her. They don't hear her. She's screaming for help. They grab her so violently, and they literally tear this woman open while she's screaming and leave her to bleed out and die. And what's extra crazy about it is up until this point, the show has gone out of their way to let us know that Viserys and Aemma actually have like a real relationship, that this is not just a political marriage. They actually love each other, and there's some significance and closeness there. They even go out of their way to show you that Viserys is a kinder man and king than most. And even that kinder man said his wife, let her bleed out and die without any say for herself, which should really tell you just how much these men value even the potential life of men and boys over the existing women and girls in their lives. Ain't that some shit? So Queen Emma dies. And then within hours, the son she gave birth to dies too. And within hours, everybody is just like, who gonna be Viserys' heir? Who he gonna remarry so they could give him an heir? We need a son. We need an heir. Emma. Body not even cold yet. Like, shoot's not even cold, hot, right? Because they just burn him up. Body ain't even charred up yet. They done talking about the next bitch he needs to marry. Ain't that some shit? And you know what this Otto Hightower does? Otto calls down to his chamber his 15-year-old daughter, and he says, hey, right quick, let me run something by you. Put on one of your mama's dresses. Yeah, put on one of your mama's dresses and go down to that old grizzly old man ass called the king, otherwise known as your best friend's daddy, and try to seduce him. Yeah, that'd be nice. You do that. Listen to me and listen to me good. Otto Hightower is a sick, power hungry, nasty, like a nasty. And listen, I know everybody hates Alicent, and me too, and we gonna get there, but not this episode, not for this. Y'all be letting y'all hatred for Alicent have y'all like victim blaming and blaming this little ass girl for the way grown ass men are taking advantage of her. Please. That little girl was quite literally a little girl being manipulated and pimped out by her fucking daddy to her best friend's daddy. While Otto is literally in the scene, while Otto is telling her to go down to the king's chambers, you can literally see this poor little girl stressed out, tearing at her finger beds from the stress. Like, listen, poor baby, okay? That poor baby. If you never feel for Alicent ever again in your life, feel for her now, okay? Feel for her now. Okay? Alicent deserved your sympathy at this particular moment. The most important part of this episode is that Viserys decides to name Rhaenyra, his daughter, his heir. And listen, even as somebody firmly Team Black, this is single-handedly the worst decision this could have made. But we'll get back to why later. So, episode 2 begins with Lord Corlys mad as about pirates and somebody called a crab feeder stealing his ships, wrecking his ships, all kind of problems, right? They doing pirate shit. He's upset. He really wants to go to war with the free territories, and everybody is like, no, dog. No, we don't want to go to war. But listen, we really don't care for real. I'm telling you, House of Dragons is really just about the scandal. Okay, we're here for the scandal. We're here for the mess. But in the course of his ranting, Lord Corlys mentions that Daemon, who's supposed to be at Runestone, is at Dragonstone, which he illegally seized and has been there for a year and a half without any opposition from the crown. So in other words, Corlys is basically saying, smell like bitch in here. So then Otto says, hey yo, chill out, man. This the king you talking to.
A seat at the king's table does not make you his equal.
Viserys responds to Corlys by letting him know, listen, we have it under control, we have done things, we have some soldiers waiting, we have a protocol, chill out, right? But Rhaenyra, who's eavesdropping, says to Viserys, you have dragons. You could send us on dragons, it would be a show of force. Now, I find this scene really interesting once you've seen the entirety of the show. Because when you first watch it, it comes across like Viserys lacks grit. Like he lacks the balls necessary to do what a king really does, right? Which is clearly what people like Corlys and Daemon believe, right? And it seems as though Rhaenyra, his daughter, has that grit in the balls that he doesn't have, but that she's being ignored because she's a girl.
At least the princess has a plan.
And rewatching the season, I wonder if they truly intended for it to come across to us like that, or if it just comes across to us based on the stellar performance the actress playing young Rhaenyra is giving. Which, side note right quick, in House of Dragons, Rhaenyra is played by 2 actors. First, her child self is played by Millie Alcock, and then as an adult, she's played by Emma Darcy. And I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but I don't really like the performance from the second actor who takes over as Rhaenyra. I don't know if it's that Millie just did that great of a job, or if it's that by the time the second actor comes around, I'm too accustomed to the performance given by the first actress, or if it's the writing, if they intentionally changed the nature of the character in a significant way. But to me, it feels like when Emma takes over the role, the character just kind of loses all the soul. Like everything that made you feel connected to the character, basically all the girl boss energy, okay? Everything that made her feel like a boss bitch, that made you want to root for her, is gone. She becomes this kind of timid, scary character. She just feels like she's lost all the essence of the first character. Or not the first character, the first Rhaenyra, right? But that's really the problem, is that they feel like two different characters, young Rhaenyra and old Rhaenyra. And the second Rhaenyra, old Rhaenyra, feels almost uninspiring. They not only feel like two entirely different characters, but one of them feels totally uninspiring at a time in the story when Rhaenyra needs me to feel inspired. They need me to rally behind this character. And the only thing that really keeps me on her team, Team Black, is because of the goodwill earned by the original actress playing Rhaenyra. And I don't know if the show intentionally wanted us to feel as though the older Rhaenyra had been gutted, like she'd lost some of her spark to motherhood or to the High Towers, or that she just kind of been beaten down over time. It's entirely possible. Like, it's entirely possible that they wanted us to feel like she had lost something that will be found by the time she learns of the events of the season finale and season 2 starts. It's entirely possible, but I still feel very meh towards the second Rhaenyra's performance. Anyway, we'll talk about this later. Back to what I was saying about this scene. What I was saying is that it's interesting that in this scene, Rhaenyra comes across to us as though she's maybe stronger and wiser, or has something that Viserys lacks. We're gonna come back to this scene later on in the video when we're talking about the season finale, because it's exactly this kind of thinking in this scene that I think is gonna cost her dearly in the season finale, and maybe reveal to us how Viserys was a better king with maybe more long-term vision than he was given credit for. Moving on. So Rhaenys, the queen who never was, and her husband, Lord Corlys, which, by the way, Lord Corlys, okay, these are the Valyrians. They are the black people with blonde hair who also ride dragons, but like, they not the leader of the dragons the way the Targaryens are. They got ships, okay? That's their whole thing. But anyway, the Valyrians are their cousins. They're also real royal. They black, they fine, they poppin'. Anyhow, Rhaenys and Lord Corlys try to offer up Viserys their daughter, their little daughter Laena, for a hand in marriage, right? They're basically like, if you marry her, you could unite our houses. That would be real powerful. That's a good move. That's a power move. Rhaenys and Corlys' entire argument is basically, you looking real pussy out here, okay? You out here naming girls to be your heir. Your brother out here wildin'. He done claimed Dragonstone and you ain't said shit. The pirates and the crab feeders out here wildin' on the stepstones. You look like a bitch right now. You might want to get with the winning team and get some power. Show the realm that you're not pussy. Which tactically in their world is a sensible decision. In my world, it's still some nasty, nasty shit. You out here selling your little ass girl to this old man. And they is no they wrong. You know, they is no they wrong. You know what's crazy? I'm sorry, quick little, at some point when Rhaenyra's out here entertaining her different suitors, right? All these different men want to marry her. She comments about all these old ass men wanting to marry her, like, ooh, they should be ashamed of themselves offering their old ass hand in marriage. And it's like, if you think that, I feel like you need to have more to say about your daddy doing the same thing. And you need to have more to say about cutting up with your uncle. Okay, Rhaenyra. But anyway, let's be real, because Viserys doesn't even really consider their marriage proposal, because Otto Hightower's already got to him. He's already been convinced that it's a good idea to maybe entertain his daughter's 15-year-old best friend. Okay. And that shit's just so crazy for so many reasons. Because what really blows me is that Viserys and Rhaenyra already have a strained relationship. And Viserys allegedly cares about the fact that they have this strained relationship. And yet, he has the nerve to be in chambers talking to his daughter's best friend, who is 15 years old, talking about, oh, she doesn't like to talk to you. She don't like to talk to you. She don't like to talk to you. Your argument, she don't like to talk to you. She does not like to talk to you. She feels distant from you since her mama died, and you think that her friend is gonna help, bestie? Yeah? You think entertaining a dalliance with her little best friend is gonna help? Okay, all right, cool. But more importantly, he literally has nothing to gain from marrying Alicent. Nothing. Like, he can only gain problems. It creates no new or strong alliances for him, and it will create a mess in his personal and family life. There's literally no reason to do this dumbness. And what's worse, Viserys has already muddied the water by declaring Rhaenyra heir. He already has one problem under his belt. So he declared his daughter heir, and now he wants to marry her little bestie. Like, respectfully, rest in peace to Queen Emma.
I really miss my nigga. I really miss my nigga. White people, you can sing it too, just change that N to a W. Miss my wigger.
but there's absolutely no logical reason why her death should have compelled Viserys to name Rhaenyra heir or to feel like he wasn't gonna have a son or get remarried again. He and everyone else knew that he was going to remarry again quickly and have more fucking kids because them's the rules, which is something understood and explicitly stated by Rhaenys when she's talking to Rhaenyra. Rhaenys goes as far as to inform Rhaenyra that, listen, it does not matter that he named you heir, because when he dies, the men of the realm will inevitably make whatever son we all know he's going to have king. They're going to do that. They're going to do that because that is the order of things.
His new wife will produce new heirs, and chances are better than not that one of those will be male. And when that boy comes of age and your father has passed, the men of the realm will expect him to be heir, not you.
And the reason that Rhaenys knows what's up is because Rhaenys has quite literally lived it. Again, the queen that never was. But Rhaenyra not trying to hear it. Rhaenyra actually starts trying to throw shade at Rhaenys. Ain't that some shit? The ego, son. The ego. She literally goes, no, they didn't want you to be queen, but they bended the knee for me. Okay. Okay, girl. Okay. She's like, it'll be different for me. I'm not like the other girls. It was really giving Whitney Houston, Deborah Cox, same script, different cast. Like, Rhaenyra really thinks she's special. All right. The only legitimate reason that anyone would have had to believe that Viserys was not going to remarry and have more kids, namely a son, which would be if he died prematurely from the flesh-eating disease that he clearly has, which is a thing happening in the background at this point. Because at this point, Viserys and his doctors have not yet figured out the magnitude of the problem that is this cut that he has spreading all over his body that he got from sitting on the throne. Anyhow, while all this is happening, Daemon, who still has an attitude that Rhaenyra was named heir, writes to the council and says, hey, listen, I still haven't f***ed my actual wife or attended to any of my real duties, but I've impregnated my whore, and not only have I stole one of y'all's dragon eggs to put in the crib of my bastard baby, I stole the specific dragon egg that y'all had reserved for your baby boy that Queen Emma died giving birth to. How you like that, bitch? To which the Round Table's response is basically, we gotta f*** this up. Yep, that's it. Clearly, we gotta f*** this up. And Viserys is like, no, that's my brother. And everybody is basically like, are you stupid? Can't you see that this motherfucker has gone crazy, that he's uncontrollable? Don't you see? He sees Dragonstone, he's stealing dragon eggs, he's surrounded by an army and dragons. Wake up! So Otto takes a trip to Dragonstone to basically be like, hey, listen, right quick, you gotta leave Dragonstone, you gotta return the egg, and you gotta banish this horse war. But then Daemon's dragon, Caraxes, pops up like,
it's not gonna, you know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna, nah, it ain't gonna work.
You sure about that? Are you sure about that? Rhaenyra rolls through on her dragon, gets straight up in Daemon's face, and tells him, hey, reminder, I'm the princess of Dragonstone, and you're on my throne doing Clearly the problem you have is with me because I'm the heir, so say it to my face. If you're not gonna kill me to my face, then return this dragon egg and go about your business. How about that? Unwilling to kill his niece? You know, I can't even be like unwilling to kill his niece because I'm not sure whether, do we believe that Daemon's soft spot that he has for Rhaenyra is because she's family or because he wants to go? Like, that's a sick thing to have to ask, right? But like, do we think the reason that Daemon wouldn't lift a hand, do we think the reason that Daemon doesn't hurt Rhaenyra in this moment is because she's his niece? Because he doesn't want to really go to war? Or because he wants to fuck his niece? Anyhow, while we're pondering that, Daemon's whore not even pregnant. She wasn't even pregnant. He was just capping for attention. So Rhaenyra returns and Viserys tearfully tells her, listen, I have to get remarried. I have to get remarried because of my duties to the realm. And Rhaenyra understands this. And to give Viserys a little bit of credit, he did wait 6 months before he remarries, or at least before he has this conversation with Rhaenyra, telling her that he's gonna remarry. And Rhaenyra understands this. She completely understands. But here's the fucking thing. Understanding that your father, the king, has to remarry is an entirely different thing from understanding why he needs to remarry your 15-year-old best friend. Big difference, my. You definitely don't have to do that. And he definitely didn't tell her. And it's crazy because he's acting like he cares so much about his daughter's opinion that he has to like tearfully tell her, oh, I have to get remarried, as though that's what her true objection would be. Like, the real problem, the thing he really needs to disclose to his daughter isn't that he's f***ing her best friend. But he doesn't tell her that. But immediately after, he goes right to the round table where Rhaenyra is in the room, and so is Alicent. And then he announces to everybody that he's going to not just get remarried, but remarry Alicent Hightower. So Alicent's standing there looking anxious, Rhaenyra's standing there looking stunned, and Corlys is mad as like outraged. This leaps to his feet. And he's like, this is absurd. My house is literally the most powerful house in the realm. Like, what is this disrespect? What is this disrespect? So Corlys and Rhaenyra both storm out. And the next we see Corlys, he's back at his home in Driftmark where he summoned Daemon to basically tell him, listen, my family is had to work for our shit, okay? We are technically, according to some texts, we're actually older than the Targaryens, but we actually had to carve out our names. We didn't know dragons. We couldn't just ride on the fame of dragons. I actually had to go to sea and make a name for my family. And I'll be damned, I lose my shit to some pirates because your pussy ass brother don't want to do shit about it. So Corlys went from Daemon is a liability doing the most to let me form an alliance with Daemon because I'm sick of Viserys' shit, because Viserys wouldn't consent to Corlys sending his navy into the Stepstones to battle the pirates and the crab feeder. So of course Daemon and Corlys come up with a plan to go rogue. So episode 3 opens with Daemon using his dragon to burn up all of the Stepstones, trying to kill the crab feeder. Instead of killing the crab feeder, he is killing all of the people that if he actually gave a about the people, they would be theoretically trying to help, right? Wouldn't that be what it's about? The crab feeder and the pirates have invaded this territory like poor people living there? But no, not at all. They burning them up. The only thing he actually care about, all they care about is power. Anything that seems like a threat to their power. These are just, all these be is like, just dick measuring contest. He trying to burn up the crab feeder, but he can't because they keep the crab feeder keeps hiding in the caves, right? And the dragon can't get in there. So in this episode, Alicent is now fully married to the king. Calling Viserys the king don't feel right, you know. Alicent is fully married to Viserys and fully pregnant with her second child, and she's already had a son, Aegon, and now she busy trying to get Rhaenyra to with her, but nothing to go so, okay? Rhaenyra not with it. And listen, you know I already told y'all that I don't hold Alicent responsible for having a Viserys or having a get with Viserys. But bitch, act like you have some sense, okay? Like, imagine your best friend's mommy dies in childbirth and you sneak behind her back to fuck her daddy, then marry her daddy, and now you waltzing around her mommy's kingdom talking about how your babies came without a fuss when her mommy died in childbirth. Alicent need her fucking ass beat, okay? Alicent need her ass beat. Like, how does she possibly expect Rhaenyra to with her? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if you don't hold her, even if you don't blame her for how she ended up with Viserys, that don't mean it make any goddamn sense that you would expect Rhaenyra to with you. Like, be so for real. And speaking of abominable decisions that came about because of sick ass Otto Hightower, I really can't say it better than I said it the first time, so roll it.
Otto Hightower really is the sick realm, you know. This man heard the king say, man, I don't want to just command Rhaenyra to marry somebody, man. I want her to be happy. And Otto say, oh, happy? Happy? You know what I think would make that bitch really happy? What if she married her 2-year-old brother? And in more sickness, the king was like, he's only 2. He's also her brother, babe. Babe, why you also, babe, listen, I understand incest was a thing back in the day, but I just don't understand how, because I shouldn't have to tell you your brother is nasty. You supposed to feel it in your spirit. Society shouldn't have to tell you that one. You supposed to feel that. Betrothing your children supposed to be nasty no matter what the age difference is. Nasty.
That's how OD Otto won power. He would have this gal marry his 2-year-old grandson. Anything to get to the throne. Anything, you know. Sick. Anyway, this episode basically revolves around Viserys trying to muscle Rhaenyra into getting married, the romantic buildup between Rhaenyra and Sir Criston Cole, and Daemon getting his ass handed to him in the Stepstones because he fighting this unauthorized war that's now making the realm look bad. Basically what happens is Rhaenyra and Viserys argue because she keeps swerving her many marriage proposals. Viserys is on this hunt for like this magical beast. I think it's a stag. It might just be a regular, I don't know, child, a beast. Viserys is on this hunt for it, but he doesn't find it, but Rhaenyra does, and she rolls back into camp like a boss. Viserys finally agrees to send Daemon help in this unauthorized war that he's been fighting and losing. And then Daemon gets so angry at the concept of needing help from Viserys that his rage just empowers him to be able to get in a little boat and suddenly win the war by his lonesome that he wasn't able to win all this time. Okay. And we do meet Larys Strong this episode, and I just want to point that out because he is you got to keep your eyes on. Okay, episode 4 starts with Daemon having won the little war. He comes back with a little haircut and a makeshift crown, and now all of a sudden he bending the knee and acting like he have respect and child, whatever. At this point, Sir Criston Cole is Rhaenyra's right-hand man. She's rejected all of her marriage proposals, and Alicent cannot find any sympathy for her situation. Alicent basically says, oh, woe is you, how much it must suck to have every eligible young bachelor in the 7 realms. 7 realms? No. 7 kingdoms, 1 realm. Wow, that sounds like a mixtape. But basically, you have your pick of bachelors when every other girl in the realm, it would be lucky if she even had 2, right? Because I want to remind y'all, Alicent was forced to marry Beetlejuice. But Rhaenyra is basically like, think, dummy. They're not fawning over me. They're fawning over my title, my Valyrian blood for their offsprings, being dragons. Alicent, like the one-track dodo bird she is, she thinks it's romantic. And it's crazy, right? Because like, how? What was romantic about that? Like, what was romantic? Like, what did she hear as romantic? She heard a bunch of men are trying to marry me so that they could extract my resources. And Alicent heard, but at least them don't look like Beetlejuice. It sounds great to me. But Rhaenyra basically shoots back, oh yeah, how romantic it must be to be imprisoned in a castle and forced to squeeze out heirs. And immediately the grief is all across Alicent's face, which Rhaenyra picks up on and goes, I'm sorry. So in that moment, Rhaenyra kind of realizes that Alicent is literally living out what Rhaenyra considers one of the worst fates. And so she has some sympathy for her in that moment, and they basically tell each other that they've missed each other, right? And it seems like, okay, they getting back on the right footing. No. And now here's the quiet part that's never said super out loud at this point, but it's shoved in your face. And it's that Rhaenyra and her uncle Daemon are very into each other. But Rhaenyra and Sir Criston Cole are also into each other. So Rhaenyra and Daemon have a conversation about how she's matured over the last 4 years.
Brother,
Nasty, you know, nasty. She complains about the pressure to get married. He tells her it's all political. You could get married and do whatever you want. And she says that's not the case for women. That's only like that for men. And he's like, yeah, like we could do whatever we want. If that was the case, I wouldn't be married to my bronze bitch, right? Because every opportunity Daemon gets, he gonna slander his wife. Like every chance he get, that is gonna slander that innocent woman we haven't seen or heard none from. Just drag her name to the mud child. So after this, Daemon leaves a map. He leaves this map that Rhaenyra finds so that she could basically go follow him in the shadows to the brothels where he could get all hornied up with his niece.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
But the gag is, he takes her to the brothels like he is Mr. Big Man. Meanwhile, she was very much trying to and he was not. Now, let me tell you what really annoyed me bad about this moment. He goes to the trouble, like they are dressed up all incognito so they could move through the Red Keep. So that, I think it's the Red Keep, right? Yeah. So they could move through the Red Keep so they could get to the brothels, right? Only to get in the brothels, the place. Think about this. They hid themselves incognito just to walk through the Red Keep, which isn't even technically the illicit activity, right? Only to get in the brothels and immediately disrobe and show everybody their silver Targaryen hair while they get hornied up in the brothel. Like, where's the sense? Where's the sense in that? Anyway, Daemon wasn't trying to but he done get Rhaenyra all hornied up, so Rhaenyra say, I ain't about to have blue balls. She goes back to the kingdom and immediately starts trying to put some pussy on Sir Criston Cole, okay? And put some pussy on him, she did. Now I want y'all to know, all right? Before I switch up, I just want y'all to know. When I first watched this, when this episode first aired, I was like, yes! Like, yes! Like, at this point, listen, Sir Criston Cole is mad cute. And at this point, the man had been a gem. He hadn't done nothing wrong, and he was the obvious choice. As far as I'm concerned, of course we're gonna root for him over the evil thumb uncle. Like, be so for real, right? So at this point, I'm like,
So my girl Rhaenyra finally get her dick wet, and she would have got away with it too if it wasn't for that meddling Otto Hightower. So apparently Otto got all kind of spies all around the Red Keep like he's Pablo Escobar, right? One of these little spies spots Rhaenyra and Daemon in the brothel getting hot and heavy, right? So they just assume so they're gonna go tell Otto that. And let me tell you something, Otto couldn't run fast enough to Viserys' chambers, okay? He couldn't wait to snitch. He was in the chambers like, listen, hey, I know it's the dead night, but your daughter's a hoe. Disinherit her. Disinherit that hoe bitch, okay? She was out here. He couldn't wait. He could not wait, child. Because you know, his number one agenda is to see his grandson made king. Is to see his grandson become the heir, right? So he tells Viserys this, and Viserys is like, I know you did not come in here calling my one good daughter a hoe. I know you didn't. I know you didn't. Oh. Huh. Then Alicent hears that Rhaenyra was Daemon in the brothels, and she gets so angry because I don't know why. Like, this is the moment where the blood of the first dead hater just seems to course through this bitch's veins for the rest of the show, child. From this moment forward, she about to spend the rest of her life angrily clocking Rhaenyra's pussy miles, okay? She want to know where it's been and who it's been there with, okay? This gal actually fixes her mouth to send for Rhaenyra to question her about whether or not she Daemon. And dog, I mean like questioning her for true, you know, like angry in her face, turned up, like rolling up on her in the garden. And to this day, I still cannot understand what made this nut bitch feel like it was her place to be demanding question. I really can't understand it. Like, imagine a bitch, your daddy, before your mummy corpse even cold, and thinking she get to question you about who you I know you lying. Like, let me tell you something. I thought white men had audacity, but nobody has audacity like Alicent Hightower, okay? The audacity on that bitch is crazy. Like, Alicent is really standing there, being a bitch that the entire realm knows regularly Beetlejuice, turning up her nose at Rhaenyra. Like, dog, she's on real disrespect time. Rhaenyra's like, you know it's a vile accusation to accuse me of sleeping with. And Alicent goes, is it? You Targaryens are known to have queer customs. You Targaryens are known to have queer customs. Word, bitch? This you? This you? This you who is laid next to an old decaying Targaryen every night? We have queer customs, but it's you who daddy told you to put on your dead mother's dress to go seduce my daddy. But it's us who wear it. Let me tell y'all something. If I was Rhaenyra, I would actually still be dislodging my foot out of Alicent's ass for asking me that. Cause ain't no gal who daddy worked for us and who my daddy gonna be standing in my garden questioning me about where my pussy been and who had been there with. No, sir. No, sir. Knowing she my senior citizen dying daddy. No, sir. Not me. Anyway, though, Rhaenyra just denies it instead of asking Alicent what the could it be. Y'all can't see it, but Asada just bit me. Like, and she's still there. Like, you see her mouth is still... Asada, the people can see you biting me. Why are you biting me? What's the problem? Asada, okay, I'm gonna pick you up. I promise you I'm gonna give you some love. Just let go of my shirt. What's the problem? Asada likes attention. I guess she just wanted attention. Yeah, she's purring now. It's my apologies. I had you up. My fault. Okay, Asada, I have to record. Is that okay? Oh my god, she immediately put a paw on me the minute I said, can I record? When Asada decides she wants love, it's love time. Anyway, Rhaenyra denies it instead of asking Alicent what the it has to do with her, and Alicent believes her. So Viserys questions Daemon, and rather than deny it, Daemon, being the nasty that he is like, why does it matter if I her? He's like, why does it matter if I your daughter? Me and you was
all the gals in the brothels back when we was her age. Viserys, ever the believer in gender roles, is like, it's different. We were men. She's just a young girl. She's just a young girl and she's your niece. And again, resident nasty Daemon is like, better me than these other niggas. And so Viserys is like, you've ruined her. Ain't nobody gonna marry her now. And Daemon is like, let me marry her. Let me make an honest woman out of her. And Viserys is like, bang, I get it now. I see the play. You don't even want to marry her. This is just because she's the heir. You want the throne. He was like, you already have a wife. Take your ass back to the Vale where your wife is and go consummate your marriage and go fulfill your duties. So Viserys is all heated at Daemon and Rhaenyra. And in a surprise twist, Alicent, just having been convinced by Rhaenyra that it didn't happen, takes up for Rhaenyra. She tells Viserys that Daemon is an opportunist and a liar, and that he just wants you to believe he Rhaenyra, which is true. This is all true. So Viserys believes Alicent, which he should in this context. She's right. She is right. But because he believes Alicent, he decides to fire her daddy, Otto. Because in his mind, it's Otto who gave him that bad intel because he's working against his daughter, which is also all true. So he fires Otto. Dun dun dun. So episode 5 begins with Daemon seemingly following instructions and returning to the Vale to his wife. But he returns to the Vale to murder his wife. And it's stuff like this that I don't know how people get past in order to dick ride Daemon. Like, this is a wicked son. He's a wicked guy. So we finally meet his wife that he'd been slandering all throughout the realm. And she's a cool bitch, actually. She's a cool bitch who was unimpressed by this psychopath thumb she has to call her husband. And he took that personally. And they don't show it, but Daemon beats her to death with a rock. So next we see Otto. He is hightailing his ass out the kingdom per Viserys' request, but not before Alicent runs him down crying like, oh daddy, don't go. And Otto is not moved, okay, child. He was like, I don't know what you're crying for when it's your ass that got me fired because you want to be all in Viserys' ear talking about believe Rhaenyra. And she was like, no man, daddy, no man, daddy. Your informants were wrong, man. Your informants were wrong. I promise you, she wasn't I'm telling you, man. And Otto was like, listen here, you dumb bunny. That girl is lying. She's a liar. And Alicent counters that with, no, this is all your fault. You two like schemed to try to make Aegon heir. So Otto gets Papa Pope serious with her child. And he's like, listen here. He's like, that old Beetlejuice upstairs that y'all call king, he ain't gonna live long, okay? He could die soon. And when he do, the realm is not gonna let the heir be a bitch, okay? If Rhaenyra becomes queen, it'll be war before they let that bitch be on the throne, okay? We need to make Aegon heir for the safety of the realm. It'll be war. Now in the next scene, remember I told y'all about Larys bitch ass strong? Larys plants the seed that is going to begin Alicent's entire villain arc. And quick little side note about Larys and the disabled villain trope, because I remember one time seeing commentary on how villains in media are often depicted as disabled. If you think of like Scar, the Joker, Captain Hook, Freddy Krueger, right? Like all these different people. And so Larys kind of plays into that trope. So anyway, Larys, ever the opportunist looking to ingratiate himself with a powerful queen, takes his ass over to Alicent in the garden and he's like, oh, what an injustice how your daddy was fired. Because you ain't heard it from me, but Rhaenyra was definitely and she definitely lied to you. And listen, baby, when I tell you Alicent run hot, she runs so hot and she never cooled down ever again for the rest of time, okay? Beef, all right? Like, Alicent is the epitome of his up and his stuck. The epitome. So while this is happening, Viserys and Corlys are having a conversation. They come to an agreement that Rhaenyra is going to marry Lord Corlys's son, Sir Laenor, the brother to Laena, their daughter they'd once tried to marry off to Viserys. They come to a compromise that Laenor and Rhaenyra's children will be Velaryons, but if any of them ascend to the throne, then they'll be Targaryens. Because as Viserys puts it, Targaryens have run shit all this time and they're gonna keep running shit. So Rhaenyra and Laenor are cousins, so they already know each other. So they now meet with the knowledge that they have to get married, and they immediately come to an understanding. And that understanding is that Sir Laenor is gay and Rhaenyra wants to be for the streets. So they agree to marry and produce heirs, but be free to do whatever and whomever on the side, which is magic to both their heirs. Now, everybody with good sense knows Laenor is gay, including his father, Lord Corlys, but he doesn't want to acknowledge it because power. He dancing all around Driftmark like, ooh, what a great arrangement. What a great deal I crafted. Like, ooh, And Rhaenys is over there like, you know our son is gay. Why are you putting him in harm's way? You setting him up for failure. You are literally endangering his life. And then Corlys' ass over there being Lulu and deliberately obtuse, and he's like, what? Maybe he'll outgrow the gay. So Rhaenys once again tries to plead with this man, and she's like, listen to me and listen to me good. They will never let Rhaenyra be queen. They will kill her, her husband, and her heirs. So it is our son whose life you are endangering with this. And Corlys is like, but we've got dragons and we've got ships. What could ever go wrong? Now, here is the moment where this episode becomes known as the episode that Sir Criston Cole becomes the most bitch ass in the realm. I mean, bitch assness of epic proportion, Olympic level bitch assness. I never seen nothing like it. To this day, never seen nothing like it. So Rhaenyra is on the boat on the way to her marriage with Sir Laenor when Sir Criston Cole approaches her, apparently having just fell out the pussy and into the Lululand, and he says, let's run away together. Let's start over. Let's be nobodies so we could be married and be in love. And while he's saying that, my girl Rhaenyra is looking at him like she can't even believe her ears. At one point while he's giving her the speech, my girl is like, are you asking for leave? You asking to quit? She's like, if you wanna go do your own thing, that ain't no problem. But she's really looking at him like, have you lost your mind? You want me to give up the 7 kingdoms to be your wife? To be nobody with you? Be serious, dog. Like, play a position. Like, just look at Rhaenyra's face. Look at her hands. And that's when she tries to hit him with the bad news, good news, like, no, I'm not gonna give up being heir to a kingdom, but good news, we can keep. She's like, me and my betrothed made an arrangement. We are free to do as we please. He gonna do his thing, I'm gonna do my thing, which is you. You're my thing. And then, in never before seen land, Sir Criston Cole is like, you want me to be your whore? That was like, bitch, do I look like your whore? Am I just a mother concubine? Like, this on the boat, and he really starts tripping, like out loud tripping. Mind you, this is supposed to be a secret affair, you know. He starts tripping. This outraged. Like, dog, just look at his face. But in all seriousness, let me break down just how irritating this is. Like, moments ago, this was just trying to give up his knighthood so he could go live in infamy with her. But the minute she not with the vision, suddenly being a knight is the most important shit that ever happened to him. It's the only thing he has, and she's sullied it. Be so for real. Mind you, he wouldn't even be a knight if it wasn't for Rhaenyra, so what are we even talking about? Also, this whole I took an oath chastity nonsense. First of all, Sir Criston Cole was no virgin. In episode 3, he was talking to Rhaenyra and talking about when he used to be knocking bitches down once upon a time ago. Second, and importantly, Sir Criston Cole is grown. He is Rhaenyra's senior, and he is very much her senior the entirety of the show. But more importantly, he is very much her senior when he takes her virginity, which she did not take at gunpoint, which she did not take after promising to be with him or to marry him or to anything. She didn't try to have sex with him and then he suddenly started telling her about his chastity and his oath. No. She didn't do nothing at gunpoint. He was all too eager to dick her down. In fact, he quite literally unarmed himself. He had to take off a metal suit. And at no point did she promise to marry him or be with him for eternity or do shit. That man never once brought up his chastity or any moral afflictions or any of that shit. But the minute she rejects his romantic proposal, all of a sudden he hyperventilating about his chastity. Get the out of here with that. Also, let me remind y'all that Rhaenyra is played by 2 actresses because one has to denote her in childhood and one has to denote her in adulthood. Sir Criston Cole is played by one actor. He is a grown ass man the entirety of the show. And the entirety of his sexual relationship consists with Rhaenyra in her child era, in her youth era. Like, just look at how this grown ass man is carrying on in front of this little girl. Like, somebody get him the out of here. So he storms off to go out at the other end of the boat, presumably. But while this is happening, Laenor is off talking to his boo, who's considerably happier than Sir Criston Cole was to learn that he'll be able to continue his relationship with his beloved. Now, this is the moment. Like, the last scene was just like, it shocked me. When I watched it the first time, I was just shocked. I never seen a man conduct himself in this manner. But it didn't make me hate him. It wouldn't make me stop with him, but it wouldn't have made me hate him. But this next scene is when let me explain something to you. Despise. I start despising Sir Criston Cole. Oh my God. So back at the palace, Alicent is still busy trying to get a pussy report on Rhaenyra because Larys has convinced her that she's Daemon. So Alicent calls Sir Criston Cole to her chambers hoping to question him, but this folded like a bitch. Like, she didn't even have to, it wasn't even about him. She wasn't on to them or nothing. She thinking about Daemon. This man, it was me. So from this moment, I despise Sir Criston Cole and Alicent despises Rhaenyra, okay? It's up and it's stuck from that moment forward. In her mind, Rhaenyra done lied straight to her face and got her daddy fired. And now she's alone in this kingdom, married to an old dying man, raising a bunch of babies. Meanwhile, she resents Rhaenyra because in her mind, Rhaenyra gets to the cutest in the kingdom and do what she wants and skirts her responsibilities, right? Like, Rhaenyra got way too much freedom for Alicent's liking because Alicent feels imprisoned by duty. Ciao. So anyhow, she is hot. So she gets to do all this and still get to be heir over Alicent's child. Alicent is hot, okay? This she cannot live with. But to shoot Rhaenyra some bail here, not that, you know what? To shoot Rhaenyra all the bail, because like I said, this shouldn't be Alicent's business. But more importantly, Rhaenyra didn't lie. Alicent asked her whether or not she Daemon. She didn't. Otto said she Daemon and she didn't. His intel was wrong. Alicent asked her a very specific question about Daemon. If she wanted a broader answer, she should have asked a broader question. So the royal wedding celebrations begin because again, Rhaenyra and Laenor are getting married. And the whole time this dinner is going on, Sir Criston Cole is heated. I mean, worst side chick in history. Like, cannot play his position for nothing. Like, blowing up the spot. Like, he over there like Arthur Fist. Like, it don't even make no sense. Like, it doesn't make any sense. This literally has known the entire time he has known Rhaenyra and been Rhaenyra's right hand. It has been to Rhaenyra courting them, having Rhaenyra prepare to get married. Rhaenyra picking a nigga to get married. Like, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. He been Rhaenyra, have been knowing that, like, none of this. I mean, my God, this man is so heated she's getting married, and for the love of God, I cannot understand why. He literally knew that he and her could never be a thing. He knew she was the heir to the 7 kingdoms, and he knows that she's not even into her husband, so what's all this hemming and hawing about? Then in the middle of dinner, Alicent shows up dramatically and intentionally late in the middle of Viserys' speech, and she shows up in green, which is the moment like Team Black and Team Green become a real thing, right? Like, that's her. In Hightower land, green means they go into war, so that was the way she let everybody know it's up and it's stuck. And as though we don't have enough drama going on, of course Daemon shows up, because unbeknownst to Sir Criston Cole, he and Rhaenyra aren't endgame. Daemon and her are. Meanwhile, Laenor's boo, who reasonably understands that this arrangement is a good thing for him and whoever Rhaenyra's lover is, and that the marriage in no way threatens what they've got going on, he's observant enough to be able to tell that Sir Criston Cole must be Rhaenyra's side chick, because again, I told you, he in the corner with the Arthur Fist going ballistic. So Laenor's boo decides to go initiate a conversation with Sir Criston Cole to tell him that they're allies. And let me tell you something. In a sensible world, you would think that a jealous man like Sir Criston Cole would be ecstatic to learn that Sir Laenor is gay and to maybe have somebody who understands his situation. But child, Sir Criston Cole took that shit personally. I guess in his mind, the only thing worse than being her whore is being her whore in a club with another whore. He was so mad. And in fact, my personal theory is that he was so mad seeing Daemon and Rhaenyra making eyes at each other, but he know he can't actually go show out or act out on Daemon. And so he really marches through the party and beats Laenor's boo to death. I mean, the shit was brutal. The scene was like that. I was truly like upset. Like, when I say Sir Criston Cole is irredeemable to me, like, he is a bitch ass forevermore. Dog, it was gruesome. And poor Laenor, dog, he was hurt the way Laenor ran with the way they showed that his head. My dope. And then, as though he's not already the weakest, most bitch ass in the realm, he goes to the garden to go kill himself. And then Alicent saves him, and thus beginning a lifetime allegiance between these two jealous bitch-ass losers who can't live with their own choices, so they blame Rhaenyra. And then Rhaenyra and Laenor have a very, very miserable, gloomy, bloody wedding immediately after the dinner because celebrations are done, festivities are done. Once you murder and the scene, like, nobody want to party with y'all, so might as well get it over with. So episode 6 jumps 10 years into the future, and Alicent and Rhaenyra are now being played by different actresses to denote that they're adults now. So the episode begins with Rhaenyra giving birth to a baby boy, but absolutely nobody cares because everybody knows, even though they can't say that they know, that the children are not Laenor's. You know why they know that the children aren't Laenor's? Because they're white. Because they're white. Laenor is a black man with blonde hair, and the babies are white brunettes. So everybody knows. Well, everybody except Viserys, okay? Who at this point is fully matured into the living dead and loves his daughter way too much to notice that her babies are melanin deficient bastards, okay? Now, what's crazy though is literally seconds after Rhaenyra gives birth, Alicent has the gall to demand that the baby be brought to her. That shit was really crazy. I would have had to beat Alicent's ass. Like, Alicent is so overdue for her ass whooping at this point. It's crazy. But instead, Rhaenyra, still bloodied, decides to take her baby and drag herself literally up the stairs across the palace to take this baby to Alicent. And what's really funny about this is Alicent literally only wants to take a gander at the baby. Just a gander, just a peep. Because a gander is all she needs to see whether or not the baby is black. It truly, I must say, Rhaenyra is my bitch. But it truly warms my heart that in this mythical universe, a white woman is being shamed because her babies aren't black. Beautiful. Like, we love to see it. We love to see it. Oh, look at fantasy. We soon meet Rhaenyra's 2 other children, both boys, both white. But more than that, I think, more than being white, I think, I want to remind you, both Rhaenyra and Laenor have the signature silver white blonde hairs. They're Targaryens and Velaryons. Meanwhile, all Rhaenyra babies is big-time brunettes. And that's because they look just like their father, Sir Harwin Strong, who is literally present at the chambers when Laenor and Rhaenyra get back with the newborn. Then we meet Alicent and Viserys' demon children at basically dragon practice. Now let me say this right out the gate. They kind of try to trick you into feeling bad for Aemond because he doesn't have his own dragon because I guess there weren't enough eggs. And Aegon, Jacaerys, and Lucerys are all kind of teasing him about not having a dragon, and they trick him into believing he has one, and then they show him a pig. But listen, all that and fuck him. Aemond is every bit of the Slytherin looking ass Death Eater that he is, okay? And I wouldn't even mislead y'all into wasting a second of your life thinking that there's anything worth feeling sorry for him about. Him, just hate him off rip. While this is happening, Alicent is in chambers begging Viserys to accept that Rhaenyra's children are bastards and that they're not Laenor's and that he should be angry about it. And Viserys is basically like, keep my daughter's name out your mouth before you meet some grave consequences, bitch. So Alicent, realizing that she doesn't have an heir in Viserys, goes off to complain to the one person who wants to hear it most, Sir Criston Cole's bitch ass. And here's what's funny. While Alicent is working overtime worrying about Rhaenyra's children, her children are busy being degenerates. Because literally in the next scene, we see Aegon jacking off in the same window Joffrey's brother gonna kill himself in like 100 years. And as you see Aegon jacking off in the window, you think to yourself, this is who Alicent so badly wants to be heir? The audacity on that bitch is crazy. This is who we need to entrust the realm to. Okay, I see you're unserious. You're unserious. I got it. And the gag is Aegon is unserious and he knows it. He has no interest in being king. But Alicent is literally working overtime to convince him that Rhaenyra will kill him and his brothers and anybody when she becomes queen because they're a threat to her reign. And Aegon is just like, well, then I won't challenge her. And Alicent is like, listen to you dumb bunny. They gonna kill you regardless. Listen, open your ears. And then we see Daemon, who is now married to Laena Velaryon, and they already have 2 children and 2 daughters, and now Laena is pregnant with their 3rd child. And it's very clear that the show wants us to see that Daemon has matured in some way, that he loves her on some level, the relationship is real, that he's made a family here for real. They want you to feel like he's a better man on some level, but listen, f all that, okay? F all that. You can't f all that. You can't murder your last wife and now think I'm gonna give you brownie points for this one. The man murked his last wife and y'all reward him with a black queen? No, sir. No, sir. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I always hated it. But speaking of evil, look at Alicent's demon children with Rhaenyra's children, fueled by the hate of Sir Criston Cole. All because he's mad that they're Sir Harwin's kids because Sir Harwin gets to Rhaenyra. And it's like, you could have got to Rhaenyra. You had first dibs, okay? She literally, you was supposed to be side chick number one. You was her main bitch. Like, whose fault is it that you didn't want to play your position? That you didn't want to be the bottom bitch? This is your own fault. There was enough pussy to go around. That's all I'm saying. Rhaenyra told you. Anyway, Criston Cole is so petty. I'm surprised he don't walk around the kingdom singing I hit it first. Like, he's so crazy. So then they fired Sir Harwin Strong from the City Watch for defending Jacaerys and Lucerys. Because let's be real, what it really is you out here looking like they father too loudly in public. That's what the real thing he's getting fired for. That's the quiet part they won't say out loud, right? So then the Hand, who is now Sir Harwin Strong's daddy, I think Lionel Strong, he goes to go resign. He goes to resign. He's like, listen, my son has disgraced our house. I can no longer like walk around these halls with what people be saying. And Viserys is like, what they be saying? Viserys is like challenging, like, yeah, say it. Say it. If you was a man, mention to me the bastard allegations. And because he ain't gonna say it, though. Like, mind you, hold on, while this is happening, Alicent is right there like, yeah, say it. Because she want hair so bad, the hating bitch. But he doesn't say it. And Viserys is like, okay, so you can't resign. But then he asks, okay, well, can I at least accompany my son back to our home? If he's not going to be in the City Watch, he needs to now resume his role of leadership of heading our house, right? Now, remember I told y'all earlier that adult Rhaenyra is way more timid than youth Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra now feels incredibly vulnerable, that people are always talking about her sons being bastards, and she's worried about Alicent's family. So instead of acting like a bitch who is the heir to the kingdom and has her own dragons, she tries to make herself small and she tries to appease Alicent. So she tries to publicly apologize to Alicent for any issues there may be between them, and she offers for her son Jacaerys to marry Alicent's daughter Helena, her sister, who I guess Helena is. And she promises that when Syrax gets their next batch of eggs, Syrax is her dragon. When Syrax gets some more eggs, they make sure that Alicent's son Aemon gets dibs on getting an egg. Viserys, of course, loves this. Alicent, not moved, okay? But what was crazy is while Alicent is busy casting all this judgment on Rhaenyra because she Harwin Strong, meanwhile, she got Larys Strong. Think about this. She hate, you know what? Actually, it do make more sense. I was gonna say she casting all this judgment, and I was gonna say that's crazy, but when you think about it, if Rhaenyra is Sir Harwin Strong, let's take a second to look at Sir Harwin Strong, because he do look strong. Rhaenyra get to Sir Harwin Strong and you get Larys? Before I even go on my next tangent, that makes sense. It makes sense that you would be hating. It makes sense to be a hater. But what's so funny is he acting, oh, I'm so duty and all my sacrifices and da-da-da. Like, Alicent don't even try to get a wild thing. Like it's not inappropriate for you to get your feet. You would not be allowed to have Larys rubbing your feet. You would be shitted on in the kingdom and they'd get you out of here like Anne Boleyn girl. So to me, if you're gonna do reckless shit, why not go do something sensible? It actually makes no sense to me why Sir Criston Cole and Alicent aren't. Like, what is he getting out of this? Like, how are you literally just hate? Just haterade fuels you? That's it? Purely being a hater. He don't even get nothing. Larys? Like, if I was ever... Larys? That's how I know Sir Criston Cole dick whack. That's how I know it. Let's move on. Larys is helping her plot against his own brother and father. His own brother and father. Wickedness. Now, back yonder, wherever Daemon and Laena are, Laena is in labor and it's not going well. And again, I told you, they want to make it a point to show us that Daemon is much kinder and a better man now. It's funny because this whole Daemon-Laena setup is the epitome of, like, in How I Met Your Mother, if you watch How I Met Your Mother, how they waste all your time showing you Ted be amazing with his wife, who actually ends up being the mother just so they could immediately put him with Robin. And it's like that woman was wasted. And it's the same thing. It's like they just want to show you, the only reason they're bothering to show you like a good relationship with Daemon and Laena, or try to show you he's a better man, is because they want to make it easier for you to feel comfortable rooting for him and Rhaenyra when they're together, because the is evil. So child, whatever. What So anyway, like I said, they're trying to make it a point to show you that Daemon is a better man now. So remember how in episode 1 when Queen Emma was in labor and the doctors came to Viserys to ask him to make a choice, and he made the choice without even letting Emma play any role in it? Well, now the doctors come to him and let him know, like, hey, listen, Laena probably not gonna make it. You could choose to try and save the baby. He doesn't make the call. He lets Laena know. Now, I am about to have what's called an unpopular opinion. When Laena learns that she is likely to die during childbirth, Laena decides to go outside and beg her dragon to barbecue her. And even the dragon didn't want to do that shit. She was literally crying Dracarys before that dragon reluctantly ended her mama. Now, I remember watching this in real time and then getting on Twitter and everybody being like, yes, yes, girl boss, yes, we love it. And I'm like, Okay, maybe y'all don't care about the fact that she decided to light her and the baby up without even the slightest consideration of whether the baby might have made it. But she decided to have herself barbecued outside of her existing children's bedroom windows. And they left her charred body out there. Like, they left it out there. Like, could you just imagine how traumatic that shit was for her babies? They went to sleep thinking that they were gonna have a new sibling, and they woke up to their mother and new siblings' babies' bodies charred outside their window. Think about the children. Think about the children. Like, I get it. Go out on your own terms. But I mean, okay though. Okay. Now, remember I told y'all that Harwin Strong and his daddy were leaving to go back home? Would y'all believe me if I told you Laris got them burned to death? He literally had his own brother and father burned alive for no other reason than to ingratiate himself with Alicent and to become the head of the house. Sick. I was upset. And I really liked Harwin and I really liked his daddy. I was upset. Sick. Episode 7 begins with Lord Corlys's brother throwing mad shade at Rhaenyra and her children at Laena's funeral. Mad shade. He all in the funeral like, Laena leaves behind 2 real children, not bastards. Laena kids got real Valyrian blood. Staring right at Rhaenyra. He wanted to call Rhaenyra a filthy mudblood so bad. And Viserys, Rhaenyra, and Daemon all picked up on the shade. It was clear. And poor Jacaerys has way more sense than his mummy gives him credit for. He knows that Harwin Strong is his daddy and that he just died. So when Rhaenyra goes over to Jacaerys to tell him to go comfort Laena's daughters because they just lost their mother, he looks Rhaenyra dead in the eye and he tells her he has an equal claim to sympathy and they should be at Harwin Strong's funeral. I know that's right. I know that's right, baby. I know that's right. Stand for your daddy, okay? Rep your daddy. Rep your set. We love it. But Rhaenyra just continues to gaslight her son for his own safety and insists that they are not family. Okay, girl. Okay. And shortly after that, we learned that the same Alicent who was outraged at the idea of marrying her only daughter to Jacaerys instead married her only daughter to her sick-ass, degenerate-ass son. Or intends to marry them, rather. And then the second son, Aemon, is sitting there looking at Helena like, I wish I was the one who could marry her. Like, sick freak. And anyway, despite the fact that Corlys's brother was throwing mad shade at Rhaenyra's kids, Corlys is not doing them like that because Corlys' eyes have always been on the prize, child. That man wants the Valyrians on the throne, which Rhaenys finally calls him on. She says to him that you act like you're doing all these things to get justice for me because I was robbed, but this is really about your own ambition for power. And she says it's your own ambition that's costing us our kids because Laena's dead now. She then insists that they should pass Driftmark down to Laena's kids because Laena's kids are real Valyrians, not Rhaenyra's. But Corlys says that he's not trying to cast an even darker shadow on Rhaenyra's sons. And as he puts it to her plainly, history doesn't remember blood, it remembers names. And even though Laena's kids might have his blood, Rhaenyra's kids have his name. And that name is good enough for him. And not for nothing, his motivations are not entirely pure or altruistic, or even mostly pure or altruistic, but at least Corlys is showing some kind of kindness to Rhaenyra's kids. He treats those boys like their family in a kingdom where everybody doing them like they Jon Snow, you know? But Rhaenys was sick about that. Sick about it. Now here's the fundamental difference between Rhaenyra's sons and Alicent's sons. Jacaerys went to comfort Laena's daughters, even though he's lost his own father and no one will or can comfort him. But Aemon goes out of his way to steal Laena's dragon that her own daughter was supposed to get. So when Laena's daughters discover that Aemon stole their mother's dragons, they are incredibly upset. And this wicked little Death Eater starts talking crazy to them, and he literally starts punching and beating up these girls with all his might. So Rhaenyra's sons jump in and everybody starts jumping in. But eventually Aemon gets the drop on them. He gets the drop on Lucerys, Rhaenyra's youngest son, and he gets a rock to bash him. He literally says that he's gonna kill him. Like, he literally tells him that he's going to die. He has the rock to him and he tells him he's going to die screaming like his father. And he calls them bastards and brings up Harwin directly, like outright. So Jacaerys pulls out a blade, and eventually Lucerys gets it and did exactly what needed to be done. Lights out, bitch. So now, big family conference. Big family conference. And everybody there except Laenor. Viserys, Alicent, Daemon, Corlys, Rhaenyra, and all the kids. And of course, Alicent there playing big defense for her wicked ass son. She claiming he was the victim and Rhaenyra's kids attacked him. Meanwhile, Laena's kids and Alicent's kids are there telling the real story, mind you, you know. So Jacaerys tells Rhaenyra that they called them bastards, right? So Rhaenyra tells Viserys, no, my sons were defending themselves against vile ass accusations. And she says what the accusations are. So Viserys is like, where did you hear that from? And Aemond, knowing that if he says it was his mom, heads will roll, he says, Aegon told me. So Viserys asks Aegon, where'd you hear that? And Aegon is like, we know. I didn't hear it from nobody. We know. Everybody knows. Just look at them. And poor Viserys. Poor Viserys. At this point, Viserys don't even got no arm no more. Viserys is missing an arm. And these people stressing him right the out with all this family drama, okay? So Viserys is like, oh, this incessant family fighting shit has to stop it. Y'all are a family, cut it out. And Alicent is like, that's not good enough. I want one of her son's eyes. I want an eye for an eye. Like, this bitch has officially lost her mind. This is really the moment when Rhaenyra should have realized that this is a nut bitch who's lost all her marbles and she really need to hem this bitch up. Like, the moment a bitch asks for your son's eye, you need to hem her up. That bitch is a problem. That bitch hates you. Like, that's hate. That's hate. Ain't no family in that. So Viserys tells her, hell no. And she straight up says, F you. F the king said. And she demands that Sir Criston Cole takes one of Lucerys's eyes. This is really the moment for me when Rhaenyra really solidifies, becomes a pussy. Like, this is it. Because from this moment forward, Rhaenyra's sole focus was supposed to be how does she eliminate Alicent and her entire family. From that moment forward, she wasn't even supposed to be able to sleep comfortably without knowing that Alicent is 6 feet under. Like, even Sir Dick Rider, Criston Cole, knows that Alicent has gone too far because he tells her no. And Viserys tells her, like, stop your shit, and if anybody else questions the lineage of Rhaenyra's sons, I'm gonna have your tongue removed. So then Alicent straight up grabs the knife off Viserys and then charges at Rhaenyra with this knife. And she doing the most, exposing her deep-seated hatred for Rhaenyra. Meanwhile, her wicked son Aemond don't even give a because all he care about is getting a dragon. Let me tell y'all something. Rhaenyra should have lit the entire High Tower line up for this. And her not doing so was the first act of weakness that would cost her bitterly, son. But to shoot her some bail, she did make a good strategic move immediately after, because she married Daemon. Or at least they wanted to get married, but they couldn't get married because Rhaenyra was married to Sir Laenor. And they can't just split up. So they decide to stage Sir Laenor's death so that he can go live his life in peace as a free gay man. As free of a gay man as he could be in this, like, world. You know what I mean? Like, not with a life and like kingdom to tend to, right? But the problem with this plan is that they can't tell Corlys and Rhaenys that it's staged. So Corlys and Rhaenys, who literally just lost Laena, become obviously convinced that Rhaenyra and Daemon killed Laenor so that they could be together. So they are heated. As far as they're concerned, they have lost their two children, at least their main children. They have a child left. Their two children, Laenor and Laena, to this family is smoke. So when episode 8 begins, Daemon and Rhaenyra already have two sons, Aegon and Viserys, which is funny, by the way, that she named her son Aegon when Alicent's son that she so badly wants to be heir's name is Aegon already. That's so funny. It's almost like decided that her Aegon is irrelevant, you know? But speaking of Alicent's son Aegon, he is a whole degenerate predator rapist now. Alicent goes around covering his tracks by implicitly manipulating and threatening the women to keep them quiet. It's so crazy to me that this degenerate son of hers that she thinks is a degenerate is who she is bending over backwards to try to make king. And that's how I know that all of this is jealousy for her. None of this has anything to do with her son and everything to do with her resentment for Rhaenyra. But like I said, when episode 8 begins, Rhaenyra has two new kids and Rhaenys is not seeing Corlys in 6 years because he's been at war at sea. And now she's being told that he was injured really badly and he may not make it back alive. Now, because they don't know whether Corlys is going to make it, that would mean that someone, Lucerys, as it currently stands, would need to ascend to the throne if he dies. And Corlys's brother is not having it. So he requests a hearing in front of Viserys to change the line of succession for Driftmark. So then Rhaenyra and Daemon go to Viserys to hopefully try to convince him to support them since Corlys's brother is challenging Lucerys's claim. But Lord, I told y'all last episode that Viserys was literally the living dead and now he is rotting alive. Like, oh, Viserys is down so bad. It is honestly a sad sight to see. And it's hard for Rhaenyra and Daemon to see themselves. They hadn't seen him for a long time because they left the kingdom about 6 years years earlier to go to Dragonstone. At this point, Alicent and Otto have pretty much taken over the kingdom. They have him hopped up on Poppy all the time, and they are running the show. And dog, it's just sad to see. It's just sad to see Viserys going out like this, because for all his flaws, he comes off like he's a very kind-hearted man. He deserved better, man. He's the only white powerful monarch I ever had some sympathy for. Poor guy. So Rhaenyra goes to Rhaenys to try to convince her to support her against Corlys's brother's challenge. She even promises to have her sons, Jacaerys and Lucerys, marry Laena's daughters, Baela and Rhaena. But I want to remind y'all, Rhaenys still thinks that Daemon and Rhaenyra killed Laenor, so she tells her to kick rocks, okay? So Rhaenyra goes one last time to a dying Viserys to try to plead with him to defend her. So then comes the herring, and Otto is sitting on the Iron Throne in place of Viserys, listening to Corlys's brother Lord Vaemond throw nothing but dirt on Lucerys and Jacaerys' name, okay? Then, in a shocking turn of events that makes it very clear that it's been quite some time that anybody's seen Viserys like on official king duties, because he appears, and when I say that man hobbled himself to the throne using his every last bit of energy to defend his daughter, I know that's right. I know that's right. I honestly might have teared up the first time I watched it. I honestly think this episode I was crying. I was boohooing a little bit for Viserys, but I felt for Viserys, but my heart was hurt. It genuinely moves me how much Viserys loves Rhaenyra and values being a father to Rhaenyra. It's a nice thing to see in this world where people don't see their children as anything more than legacies and political pawns, you know? So Viserys literally drags himself all the way to the Iron Throne, where he tosses Otto off. And he says, I'm not gonna say it again, okay? My daughter is the heir. Her sons are Valerians. That's it. It's settled. Driftmark is theirs. And even though Rhaenys don't with Rhaenyra and Daemon, and she literally had just finished telling Rhaenyra she was not going to support her, when Viserys specifically asked Rhaenys what her husband Corlys would have wanted, she told the truth, that Corlys wanted Driftmark to pass to Lucerys, and she announces that Rhaenyra intends to marry Jacaerys and Lucerys to Rhaena and Baela. But remember, I told y'all, Lord Corlys's brother Vaemond was already up there throwing dirt on Jacaerys and Lucerys' name. And he done got so comfortable doing that because of Otto and Alicent that when this happens, he starts talking bold crazy again. I mean, like hot cash. He starts talking so much shit that, you know what? You'll see. You'll see. Roll it.
You break law and centuries of tradition to install your daughter as heir. Yet you dare tell me who deserves to inherit the name Velaryon. That is no true Velaryon. Her children are bastards! We'll have your tongue for that.
The last really noteworthy thing that happened in the episode is that when Viserys is on his deathbed, he thinks he's talking to Rhaenyra about a dream he had. He's talking about her and her son Aegon, right? And how they're supposed to be heir. He's actually talking to Alicent, and Alicent pretends to believe that, as far as I'm concerned, she's pretending, okay? She knows good and well that Viserys has never wanted her child to be heir. She knows he doesn't want Aegon to be heir. She knows that. She knows that. The man has done said that to her every day of her life, including today, that day. So anyway, she acts like she believed he was telling her this on his deathbed, but he really wanted her Aegon to be heir, or he saw him to be heir. And so then Viserys dies. This entire episode 9 is literally just Team Green working overtime to supplant Rhaenyra as heir and put Aegon on the throne before Rhaenyra is even made aware her father is dead. And like when I say working overtime, I mean bending over backwards, okay? They literally go as far as to imprison lords who wouldn't swear allegiance to them and kill them. But you know who did get the out alive? Big boss Rhaenys. She wasn't going for it. And unlike Rhaenyra, she remembered that she had a dragon and no time to play. What I find worth noting about this scene is how Aegon didn't want to be king, and then he got a little taste of that power and immediately leaned into it. And second, I love my girl Rhaenys. Like, that's really my bitch. I think Rhaenys is the most unsung gangster of the whole show. But I hate how she had every opportunity to kill the Hightowers, but she didn't, because why? Why?
Why don't we just kill these fucking people?
Suppose, are their lives too valuable for you to kill? Okay, but you know whose lives obviously weren't valuable? All the poor people she literally crushed to death under the weight, literally let the whole floor collapse underneath them, and then her dragon proceeded to walk across them and kill them. No problem with that. No problem with that. If there's ever a time you're gonna know that the lives of poor people don't mean shit, it's when you're watching anything that involves any kind of royal monarchy, child. So then Rhaenys flies all the way to Dragonstone to let Rhaenyra and Daemon know that exactly what she always told her would happen has happened. And Rhaenys better than me. She better than me, because for all that I had lost, and for as arrogant and cocky as Rhaenyra had been when she tried to warn her 11 years earlier, I would have simply killed Alicent and them and took the throne for myself, or at the bare minimum I was given when I told you so's. Yeah, dummy. Yeah, what was that? Remember when you was talking hot cash? You thought it was just gonna roll over and let you be queen, eh? Told you, dummy. But Rhaenys let them know what was up, and somehow they had not at all prepared for the most inevitable moment that people like Rhaenys had been telling her to prepare for her entire life. But I told y'all, adult Rhaenyra lacks a lot of the fighting spirit that young Rhaenyra had, so she's not even sure she wants to go to war at all. Otto and them come offer her a certain kind of deal, like, hey, if you bend the knee in a certain amount of time, we'll spare you and your family. And she's thinking about it, even though Daemon's like, bitch, no, ain't nothing to think about war, bitch. Like, get in the game. But I guess Rhaenyra not trying to be so hot-headed. She starts trying to be strategic, but it's exactly that strategic thinking that gets her up, okay? Because you would think that to Rhaenyra, the most vulnerable people right now would be her children, that Alicent and Team Green have always hated. So certainly, now more than ever, she wants to keep her children close, protect them as much as she humanly can, no? No? But yet, when Jacaerys, just like his mother Rhaenyra did back in episode 1, remember that moment I highlighted? He suggests that Rhaenyra send him and his brother Lucerys, on dragons to get some messages to her potential allies. And she actually agrees to it. In the time where her children are most vulnerable, that's the time where she wants to send them gallivanting through the sky on dragons to go parlay with people who may or may not choose to align with her.
Boy, have you lost your mind, because I'll help you find it.
And thus begins the most traumatic shit I think I have seen on TV since, like, honestly, this shit hurt me. Dog, she sends sweet baby angel Lucerys on dragonback, on his small baby dragon, to go meet with one of these potential allies. And as soon as he pull up in the yard, what he see? Big ass Vhagar, okay? Laena's old dragon that now belongs to evil, wicked, one-eyed bastard. You know, I'm just realizing, remember earlier when I pointed out Larys in the disabled villain trope? I'm only just noticing that they made Aemond, the most wicked, also becomes disabled, right? With like losing the eye. Look at it. I'm on to y'all. He sees Vhagar parked in the yard, so he knows Aemond is there. And Lord knows, I wish he had just turned back and went home right then. I wish he had seen it and left immediately. When he does finally go to leave, Aiden chases him through the sky, and it's really just too painful to discuss. Just watch. I can't. It's too much. Just watch. I honestly cannot do it justice, just how much I hate Aemond. So I'm just gonna play you my actual live reaction to the premiere when I saw it.
My nerves on me, babe. I really need this little boy to get on this dragon and fly away. This one-eyed come in. Lord, I wouldn't be shocked if he chased him in the sky. Is he away safely? No, man. They still have us watching him. This about to fly after him. Oh, Lord. This slithering is about to fly. Mother. It's a terrible journey in the sky. Oh, please don't let Aemond show up. Don't let the lightning take this out. Stress out. Nigga following him in the sky, hey. He following him in the sky. Aemond could follow him. Distant growling. Aemond following him. Mother dread. I knew this wicked was following him.
I'm so fucking mad. I am so fucking mad. I'm so mad. First of all, not this one-eyed playing like he don't know, like you didn't. Like you was out to kill him. Why you acting shocked? Like, who is shocked? I shocked he get gobbled up by my dragon. Who I tell gobble him up? Like, babe, you know what I don't like? Rhaenyra has been being pussy since the minute they've transferred her to these adult years. She caused that, babe. She caused her child dead. I don't understand. What the fuck you have the dragon for if you ain't gonna fucking like fire? You talk about, oh, when the dragons go to war, everything burns. Burn that down. Burn it down, then. Do what you have to do. What the f?
Somebody needs to be the one to say it, so I'm gonna go ahead and say it. After this episode, the Targaryens and the Valerians are pussy. They're pussy. Yes, they're pussy. Sugar pussies.
a waste of dragons. I mean, the amount of times they had their enemies in their sights. Lights the up. I don't understand. I don't mother. And so what? I supposed to feel like what? That big? Hold on, this Rhaenyra. Cause your child dead? He done f***ing dead. You wanna have all kind of evil glare? The time to do evil was beforehand. She had Otto Hightower right now. No, wait. Oh, this a bunch of yeah. Rhaenyra has made me so fucking mad. She almost had me rooting for domestic violence. I was like, at first I got to be like, damn it. And I was like, you know what? You making sense. Choke this bitch out, cause she ain't fucking focused. She ain't focused. She ain't focused. It's wartime, baby. It's war. Like that's high key an embarrassment, son. Like that's an embarrassment. How you let your son get clipped off rip? Off rip. War ain't even starting. You down a son? You down a prince, my you already down a prince. The army don't stand a chance. I mean, my God. Fucking God. You don't know to protect the... Who the fuck sends the princess off as a messenger boy? Make it make sense. Make it make fucking sense. She ran the place deliberating whether or not she should go to war when war already fucking start. Girl, you focus? Usurped you. War is here.
Okay, here are some of my final thoughts. I know that we Team Black members are not supposed to say this, but all of this could have and would have been avoided if Viserys didn't panic for absolutely no reason and name Rhaenyra heir, and then double, triple, and quadruple down on it, even after he had a wife and a son. I appreciate the father he was trying to be to Rhaenyra, and I deeply like Viserys as a character, and I think the actor did an amazing job. And the reason I really like the character is because you don't often see powerful men depicted as prioritizing family over power. But in this case, Viserys tried to, and it cost him and everyone around him. But stupider than naming Rhaenyra heir in the first place was marrying the daughter of his power-hungry hand in the first place, or for not questioning how Alicent ended up in his chambers in the first place, and to continue allowing them positions of power in his kingdom even after their hatred for his daughter became clear. Surely he should have understood the danger he was putting his daughter in, right? If not earlier, at least when Alicent pulled out a knife on her and slashed her. Surely he should have gotten that after he died, his daughter and her children would be in danger. No? All that being said, Alicent, Otto, and all her kids, okay? I mean, maybe not Helena, but her too by association. While I am annoyed that Rhaenyra brought on the loss of Lucerys by not having her head in the game much earlier, understand that I'm going to be locked in to see her rock their shit next season, okay? And I hope y'all lock in and watch it with me. All in all, justice for Lucerys, justice for Harwin, Larys Strong, Sir Criston Cole, and the Hightowers as a staff, as a record label, and as a mother crew. And if you want to be down with them, hey, you too, okay? Y'all should subscribe to the Patreon. I put, for the people who want to hear me doing all my cursing, we put the uncensored versions of every recap on the Patreon. So do that.